Sam Valentino, private toon detective here. I'm sure if some of you are expecting me to talk a bit about the upcoming Netflix live-action Scooby-Doo Origins series.
Yeah, that's my life.
You're right on the ball, Scoob. You see, there's a bit of hubbub online over the decision to use a real dog to play your role, Scooby, especially since I'm seeing people criticize the puppy they cast in the role, saying it doesn't look like a Great Dane, but more like some kind of chocolate-colored Labrador or something.
Oh?
Right, because the truth is, Great Dane puppies really do look like that. As such, they have an actual Great Dane puppy cast as Scooby for the Origins series. It's when they grow up they begin to take on the usual Great Dane characteristics, like their huge size and their muzzle shape, not to mention the cropped ears many associate with Great Danes. But the procedure for that is understandably criticized for being unethical, which is likely why the puppy playing you has this original longer ear shape. Also, Great Danes have indeed come into solid chocolate brown like you before, but it's considered a rare color, again apparently against breed standards, compared to the other more common color options. Since to get such a Great Dane in your color, Scoob, it can lead to unethical backyard selective breeding options. Funny thing, Scoob, when you originally created back in 1969, your designer, Iwao Takamoto, consulted a friend who bred Great Danes, learned the proper characteristics of a champion Dane, and just gave you the opposites of those characteristics to make you a goofier and more lovable toon.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah. I also remember reading, according to this 2002 tie-in behind-the-scenes scrapbook for the first live-action Scooby-Doo movie, and I quote, at first, they wondered if a real animal could take on the role, but the animated Scooby is so human in so many ways. His paws are like hands, he walks on his two hind legs, and even talks like a real person.
Yeah?
The film's producers and director knew they would have to find another way to bring Scooby to life. And going that Roger Rabbit effect approach was also out of question, since, according to director Raja Gosnell, Roger Rabbit has the whole world where toons exist, as you and I should know, Scoob, living there ourselves. And this live-action Scooby-Doo movie wouldn't have that. So ultimately, they brought Scooby to life with CGI animation, courtesy of Warner Brothers Feature Animation and the Rhythm and Hues Company. Save for that one shot of the gang in the avalanche of spilled toys, using animatronics for the movie Scooby's rear end sticking out. But I'm guessing for this Scooby-Doo Origins series, in the scenes where they will use the actual Great Dane puppy, for any scenes where he'll speak, they'll animate his mouth via CGI, the way they did for several of the dogs in the Babe and Cats and Dogs movies. And maybe if they opt to have this young Scooby puppy do anything out of the ordinary like you usually do, Scoob, then they'll use CGI.
Oh, boy.
Also, there's how Babe and Cats and Dogs use a combination of CGI and animatronic puppets for certain characters and scenes, along with the 1994 live-action Flintstones movie using such methods for their Dino, namely CGI animation for full-body shots and animatronics for when just Dino's head is shown, all of them using archived Mel Blanc vocal effects.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, such technologies are pretty much why they can now do a Scooby-Doo movie or TV show in live action, compared to a live stage play or theme park show where wearing a Scooby costume is more efficient. Heck, even amateur videos like this, in a sense of medium awareness from me.
Oh, brother.
Oh, come on, Scoob. At least it's not as bad as when Hanna-Barbera attempted such a thing when trying their hardest to be like Warner Brothers Animation in the 90s, and a bit of foreshadowing.
Amazing how things happen right on cue in a cartoon, isn't it?
Stuff like that is best left to the professionals in the cartoon business. But anyways, regarding the theory that they will animate the Great Dane puppy's mouth via CGI, I heard they may likely get Frank Welker on board to do your voice again, Scooby, but Neil Fanning, who did your voice in the live-action theatrical movies, is trying to audition for the role too, so we'll see what happens. kind of akin to them doing so for that Scooby animated movie, which is still under hot water from Matthew Lillard and Grey Delisle Griffin for casting the rest of Mystery Inc. to celebrities, which doesn't make much sense, as Matthew Lillard is already pretty much is a celebrity, especially after playing Shaggy in the live-action 2002 movie. Anyways, in our talking about comparing CGI with animatronics, while the latter is more expensive, it can also often look more convincing. In fact, there's a Scooby-Doo comic story from 2009 that showcases how practical effects are often superior to computer animation, to the point where that was the motive of the villains. Rather than commit crimes, they wanted to scare the others into proving how rubber monster suits are more effective than them doing them in CGI.
More effective.
Exactly. Also, from what I've gathered, as we already know about Scooby-Doo Origins, it's yet another take on how you and the gang all got together when you were all younger. In this case at a summer camp, teaming up when a mysterious murder happens. Almost kind of like when Family Guy made fun of that with their Scooby-Doo Murder Files cutaway, where they even got Frank Welker to voice Fred.
Gee whiz, gang. Looks like the killer gutted the victim, strangled him with his own intestines, and then dumped the body in the river.
You're right, Scoop. But at least this isn't being made for adults, the way a certain gritty, mature animated reboot from Mindy Kaling was. But it's definitely being geared more towards teenagers, kind of like how the Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated animated series was definitely made with older children in mind, as well as teens and adults, but didn't stop the show from being rated TVY 7FV despite containing some very PG content.
Moving on, please.
Yeah, but rather than talk about that again, at least we know they started production on this Scooby-Doo Origins series. And so let's hope if Paramount Skydance succeeds in buying Warner Bros. Discovery, this doesn't become yet another casualty of it, given Paramount is like a big storm cloud looming all over the Warner Bros. Animation properties.
Oh no!
Yes. But as I've said in my last video, the state attorney generals, especially the Democratic states, although California's star attorney general, are hard at work at trying to get this merger blocked, even with the Department of Justice approving it. But that's probably only because it's run by a current corrupt president who's friends with those Ellison mugs. So hopefully it'll be a snap in foiling their dastardly plans. So you guys out there should stay tuned to this channel for more updates on that, or whatever else me and my toon buddies here do next.
Scooby-Doo.